because I'm only on two screens. So if you want to turn your cameras off, please don't worry. I'm not going to be able to see you anyway because I'm literally going to put the slides on. So don't feel obliged to keep them on.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. We are pleased to welcome Christine Sutton from Wendy Wu Tours, specializing in Asia tours. I'm not going to give her pitch, but Christine, I almost called you Wendy. Christine, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about Wendy Wu today. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you, Jeff and Chris, for organizing. That's amazing. Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen now. Just give me a moment. And can I just check that you can all see my welcome screen now?
Yes.
Coming in. Wonderful. So a little explanation probably needed because, as you can see, my surname, I did mention I don't really have a Google account. So I've actually since got married since I obviously set up that Google. So I'm now Christine Sluder. So if you do get any emails from me, please don't be too confused whether it says Wendy, Christine, or Sutton or Sluder. But thank you all for your time today. And as Jeff mentioned, I want to introduce you to Wendy Wu Tours and the amazing experiences we have to offer your clients. I'm really going to concentrate on why you should, there's a lot of products out there, there's a lot of touring products, and really what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through one or two specific, give you a couple of highlights of tours, but mainly looking at the styles of our tours. So who are Wendy Wu? We're the UK's leading Asia specialist tour operator, which is where our head office is and where Wendy is now based. We relaunched in the USA about 15 months ago now. We did, if any of you have been in the industry for a while, we were here for a number of years. Wendy moved over here for a number of years and just for personal reasons decided to move back to the UK, and really the business wasn't continued here, so we've relaunched. So no other operator covers as many tours as we do. We're truly experts in the field. As mentioned, Wendy is a real person and recognised a gap in the market and expanded her business to other destinations. So whilst we are definitely specialists in China and Japan, and that's generally what customers first and foremost know us for, we do go to over 40 destinations now. Wendy's still the owner and remains hands-on in the strategy of the business. She's quite a character, that she's got her own avatar. She's quite vocal and does a lot of podcasts, does a lot of events, certainly in UK, Australia and New Zealand. There's a lot, and she will come to the US once we get a little bit more established. So Japan's currently our #1 destination, with China increasing in popularity. From the UK, China is now #1, but here in the US, it's still Japan, but we expect that to take over Japan anytime soon. So outside of Asia, we also have tours in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and South America. Our escorted group tours come in two very distinct styles. Both offer your guests an experience of a lifetime to treasure. And all our tours are in English, and that's quite an important point. We don't have any, there's no translations. We don't want clients on the trip to be disengaged. We want everybody engaged, so all the tour is in English. So the majority of guests where we have offices, etc., are coming from UK, Australia, New Zealand, and now the USA. And we have a very small amount coming from South Africa as well. So majority of our tours are classics, called classic tours, and each tour on the website, it's very clear when you look at it, it'll say under the title of the tour what style it is. Classics give you and your guests the assurance that all arrangements are taken care of. Accompanied by dedicated and professional national escorts. These are ranging from 8-day trips that focus on the key must-see attractions to more extensive itineraries that include lesser visited regions. We have a maximum group size of 28, and I would say on average, outside of Cherry Blossom, where the tours do tend to go full, because at the moment supply and demand outweighs supply, so they do tend to go out full. But I'd say most other times of the year and most other destinations, we'd probably be looking at around 22 average on a classic. So our other main style is Go Beyond, and it's all about getting off the beaten track. It's for those customers that want a little bit more, you know, to dig a bit deeper, to experience things that only a privileged few travelers have, immersing in local culture, interacting with locals and seeing unforgettable sights. We have a maximum group size of 18. Again, cherry blossom season tend to go out full, but these generally would on average have 12 to 14. Now, we also do cruise and tour, which allows guests to combine a Wendy Wu tour with a cruise. We've tailored the tour around key cruise dates. Most of them are across Asia, and it's a fairly new product over the last maybe 4 years. So, for example, we have China by land, Japan by sea. So you would there'd be a Wendy Wu tour in a classic tour style that you would taking in the key sites in China are one of our most popular itineraries, but the dates are there to suit the cruise that departs and the Royal Caribbean cruise that goes around Japan. Besides fully inclusive tours, we can also offer tailor-made touring if your clients are inspired by our itineraries but want to make slight amends, or simply want to travel as a family group, or they want to take children. We have an age limit of 12 and above on our tours. So if they want to do something a little bit more bespoke, then we can tailor-make. But the emphasis is on tailor-made touring. For example, we can't do things like pre and post cruise stays and things, that kind of thing. We can't, apart from the ones that we've organized ourselves, we can't do sort of like 4 nights in Tokyo or that kind of thing. We're a touring company rather than a DMC. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's just watch a short video to give you a little taster. And I hope the sound is coming through okay.
No sound.
Did you say there's no sound?
No, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the sound. With PowerPoint, it doesn't always work well. So.
Okay. It is only music, so it's really for you to take in the images, to be fair, and, you know, the regions, etc. So it is only music.
Not a picture.
Okay, so what does a fully inclusive tour include? So this is not to be confused with an all-inclusive holiday. You can be confident in knowledge that our mutual guest accommodation has been handpicked to best suit the location they're visiting. Classic tours feature comfortable, locally rated 3 to 4 star properties, which equivalent US standard would probably be about a 4.5 star, ranging from smart business hotels to family-run guest houses. So not necessarily the huge chains. Hotels in Asia and the Middle East tend to be of a higher standard than you would get in the USA, for instance, as they strive to provide excellent service. hotels are selected for their authentic character and central location. We try to avoid long transfers, so we want to make sure we're not a company that sort of are busing people into Tokyo. You'll stay in the center, and so that's the idea of having authentic character and central locations. So on a classic tour, pretty much all meals are included. There is no additional excursions that are sold to your guests when they're on the trip. Everything is included. There's parts of the tour that they are left to explore where it suits the itinerary, but there's no, okay, you could book this extra excursion, etc. So it's pretty much all included, which means our upfront pricing may look more expensive initially, but when you dig deeper as to what's actually included, you will find that it's good value when you really dig deeper. Go Beyond tours offer more unusual, characterful or more rustic accommodation, which fits perfectly around the tour's more adventurous spirit. Again, all meals are included on Classic. I've already told you that. Meals are included on classics, and the majority of meals on Go Beyond, there's a bit more of a freewheel style. Go Beyond is slightly more adventurous, so you would, there might be a short cycle ride or something a little bit different rather than always walking, or just something slightly different to what you would get on a classic. To give you an idea of the meals, breakfast is always in the hotel and tends to be a mix of local eats and familiar dishes from home, so Western style, as well as Asian style, depending on the country they're going to. Lunch and dinner will be in local establishments, and there'll be a few feature meals which allow guests to experience the taste of signature dishes from the region. We can take meal requests. Certain regions, for example, Japan, can be a little bit difficult to get a true vegan or vegetarian. It's difficult to guarantee that things like the sauces or the soups haven't got some sort of meat stock in them. But we do the guides will advise locally that those are the things to watch out for. They're often served banquet style, where all the dishes are placed on the table for guests to help themselves, so they can sort of pick what they want to sample and try, as you can see from the images. And in Japan, each guest will be served the food in bento boxes, which is a traditional mix of separate dishes. As mentioned, dietary requirements are catered for. All sightseeing and entrance fees are included, so there's no queuing up. We're a culturally immersive tour and not just a visit. Guests are immersed in the cultural experiences. For instance, and this is a real good example of what makes us a bit different. When you're visiting the Great Wall of China, the main tourist stop is very crowded and where the majority of tours go. It's so crowded, there's actually a Starbucks now built in the wall. So we travel about 1 hour further away to visit a more remote area to avoid the crowds, less tourists, and give a truly unique experience. All transportation on the tour is included, plus guests will be met at the airport and transferred to the hotel and back to the airport at the end of the tour. We also, to avoid embarrassment, we also organise all the tipping where it is. For instance, in Japan, it's offensive to, they're quite offended if you tip. So, the national escorts will always guide the group as to where it is appropriate to tip, and we'll get that organised for everybody. So solo touring, we have dedicated departures for solo travellers just on our most popular tours. Now, we have a lot of repeat business and a lot of, we take on board a lot of the feedback. And solo is definitely a growing area, and we will continue to increase the departures. As it stands at the moment, they're on our most popular tours. So there's quite a few: China, Japan, India, Vietnam. Trying to think of others, but it's those top destinations. So these tours are slightly smaller. They have a maximum group size of 18. Everybody gets a private room. So all the costing for a solo tour is based, it's already costed out with any single supplements included. Solos can also join the non-dedicated departures. They'll likely be traveling with a mix of couples, friends, and other solos. So we've now got a short video, and I'm going to have that problem again with the sound. So sorry.
Travel solo with Wendy Wu Tours. Our fully inclusive tours are perfect.
There's
for
no
solo
sound again,
travelers.
is there not?
No,
With
it's on. The sound
Yeah,
is on.
You don't have to worry about the hassle of organising a holiday by yourself. We do it all for you. When you travel on our tours, you'll be exploring amazing destinations with a group of ready-made friends. With immersive cultural experiences and informal dining, all enjoyed as a group, you'll make friends for life. And don't forget, your national escort is right there every step of the way, sharing the experience with you too. We offer a number of options for solo travelers. You can join any of our group tours, traveling with a mix of other solos, couples, and even small groups of friends, and enjoy the privacy of your own room by paying a single supplement. If you don't mind sharing a room throughout the tour, our happy to share option means we can pair you up with another solo traveler of the same gender with no single supplement to pay. Or if you'd rather travel with just other solo travelers, we have reserved a handful of departures on our most popular tours exclusively for solos only. On these dedicated solo tours, you'll have a room of your own and will travel in a group no bigger than 18. Whichever you decide, with Wendy Wu Tours, you travel solo, but never alone.
So just to confirm, the sound didn't work on that either, did it?
No, it worked.
It worked. How weird. It worked on one and not on the other. Oh, well. Okay. So I probably don't need to go into too much detail on this next slide then, because it covered off. We do have a happy to share. So customers, if they're not on the solo dates and they want to share with another person so that they avoid the single supplement, what they can do is share with a person of the same sex if there's another person comes along. If there isn't another person comes along, they do need to pay that single supplement. So they need to sign up that potentially they will have to pay that if we don't find them a buddy. And that covers off that slide really. So we also do private group tours. This can be in many different guises. You as an advisor may wish to advertise to your own network and put a group together that you lead. Obviously, we'll still have guides on there, but you escort the group. We can put the cost of your trip within that within the costing. For instance, and it can be that you are looking at a particular date. Say you pick a Japan tour and it's, I don't know, October 2027, and you say, actually, could I take that as an exclusive departure? So it's already one that we've already got priced out and we've already committed to the rooms, etc. Or you might want to do a private group that's something a little bit different and it may have a theme. So it could be a book club, or it could be a church group or hiking club. And so you may want to tailor that itinerary around what the interest group is. So, you know, and basically it's a private group, 10 or more, and they can be in those two very different ideas, really. We need 10 or more to do that. And as I say, it's going to be fully escorted and usually would be at least loosely based around one of our inclusive tours that we already have. So what makes us different? So to start with, we've got our award-winning service. We're recognised as the best tour operator by the UK travel industry for 14 years running. I'm mentioning that because we're obviously more established there. But awards are well and good, but it's our customer feedback that means the most. If you look on our website, you'll see how many reviews there are on each tour. It's like a live feed to FIFO, which is, we hold the gold, the FIFO Gold Trusted Service Award, and they're all taken from I don't know what the process is, but they are taken from genuine customer feedback. So they're authentic, independently verified by FIFO. Only the businesses providing the best experience for their customers make the grade. So our expertise, no one knows our destinations like we do. Wendy is actually Chinese. She was living in Australia when she set up the business. We're passionate about sharing the best of them with our guests. Each destination has a product manager who knows the destination inside out. All the product managers are actually based out of the UK in our head office. We have outstanding guides, much loved national escorts whose knowledge and dedication have won them best reputation in the industry. They become friends, and many people, many travelers will then come back saying, hey, can I go on a tour with this guide again? We had one that their parents, their daughter was now going to be traveling, and they came through with a request saying, is it possible for them to have this guide? They're looking at this tour. So they really do make the trip. Customer service is always getting emails about how good they were. So we have exceptional value and inclusions. I've already gone through everything that's kind of included. There's no hidden extras. So on a Wendy Wu tour, the only thing you need to pay for would be alcohol and gifts to take home. Everything else is included. Water as you're going along, etc. like that. Soft drinks are included. So it's just alcohol, souvenirs, etc. that you want to take away. So we always have offers with regular dollar off promotions. So at the minute, we've got 10% off, and I'll show you that in a minute, but we've got 10% off all of our inclusive tours for any clients that book up until the end of March. We've got hand-picked and comfortable hotels in great locations. As I said earlier, we make sure they're in the right location for where you're ending your tour in the evening, or where your dinner is, and then where it's a convenient location for the next day. So it might be that it's simply located quite close to where the bullet train's going to go the next day, so it's quite an easy journey for you to get on your way. On our coaches, we have a seat and a half policy, so there'll always be plenty of room for everybody to spread out. We have amazing tours and authentic experiences. On tour with us, guests will be immersed in culture and history through experiences such as meeting local families, learning ancient traditions, and watching cultural shows. We also include delicious local meals in each region. I know we were talking about being foodies earlier, and you know, there's things like sushi making as part of our Japan tours. There's the traditional tea ceremony. There's private dinners with the geisha. So there's lots of, and when you look at our tours on the website as well, it will sort of break it down where you're going, what the form of transport's going to be, and what those cultural experiences are that are the highlights of the tour you're looking at. So as I said, here's just a couple of tours, and this is what it looks like on the website. So we have this map for every single tour, so it gives you, and it shows you that the form of transport will be coach and train. We tend to use trains for most internal travel, certainly within Japan and China, because it tends to be more efficient, and everybody wants to get on the bullet train in Japan. So this is one of the most popular tours we have, which is a week in Japan. It's our shortest, but it does those main sites. Everyone wants to go to Tokyo. They want to stay in traditional Japanese inn. They want to go to the onsen baths. They want to go to Mount Fuji. This one also includes Nara, so you've got the wildlife where you can feed the deer, etc. So this tour of Japan includes all the classic sites, as I mentioned. You've got the temples in Kyoto and historic Nara. So your travelers will learn calligraphy and embark on a relaxed dinner cruise in Tokyo Bay, take a bullet journey on a bullet train. They'll also experience the traditional tea ceremony. This one starts at 5,270 per person. These prices are the lead-in price. We don't have that much, sorry, 5,400. We don't have that much seasonality, but obviously it is a peak for, it's probably about 3 seasons for most of these tours. And obviously the peak would be cherry blossom, closely followed by autumn leaves. And the prices we've got on here, you'd get 10% off currently, because that's what our offer is. This particular tour is an easy one. If somebody is fine walking the dog, going about, pottering about their daily life without any issues, they go and get in their own groceries, etc. This is a 1 rating. We go 1 to 5 generally. Most of our classics are a 1, and our go beyonds tend to be maybe a 3, sometimes 4. So Best of Japan, this is a very popular tour. It's new. Basically, we have another one that just does pretty much same itinerary, but the opposite way around. It was so popular, we came out with this one, which just kind of reverses it. It's quickly become one of our most popular tours, and it's loved during cherry blossom season. Traveling during one of the most popular times in Japan, and so you tend to need to book early for this one to get the dates that you want. Second, as I mentioned earlier, second to cherry blossom is autumn leaves season. So again, this one starts at 9,490, and again, all meals are included. And I'm just going to sort of give you a taste of what Japan looks like during cherry blossom. And do we have sound?
No.
Kind of weird. It's good though. The one that actually had talking had sound, so where there was more of an explanation. This one is purely music, so it must be something I have to do with music. So yeah, with the cherry blossom season, as the video said, it does sell out. We stopped our tailor-made touring. We had to put it on stop sale right at the beginning of the year because it was just getting impossible to get anything. If there is space on our tours, we will obviously, we've already got those rooms blocked and there's space on the tour, so, and that's secured at that price. So if there happens to be availability at a last minute booking, obviously we will take the booking. But a lot of my colleagues in the UK have all shared that sort of autumn leaves. You in the autumn, they were saying that when they've been out at that time, you tend to get a clearer sky for Mount Fuji, because that obviously is the luck of the weather. But it just tends to, quite a few of my colleagues have said they've had much better visibility in the fall. So we're now just going to hop over to China. So this is where it all began. And we're seeing, as I mentioned earlier, demand's returning. This is one of our most popular, which is the wonders of China. Start their adventure by flying into Beijing and explore the city, explore the Forbidden City. Along their journey, travelers will experience Beijing's atmospheric old neighborhoods and get a glimpse into the residents' day-to-day lives. They'll soak up the dramatic beauty of China when they cruise down the Li River, and they can expect to always have the best cuisine at every meal. From boiled dumplings to Peking duck, they'll get to experience all the gastronomy China has to offer. So this one, 16-day tour, again, all fully inclusive. And it starts at 4,480, and this is 16 days. So you'll see it's quite a different price point to Japan. Japan is enjoying extreme demand, and I would say is probably one of the most expensive places in the world to visit at the moment. But China, you will see there's quite a big difference in the price. And obviously, you'll get to walk along the Great Wall of China on this one. And these videos are really good at showing the contrast with the old and the new. So Glories of China is a 13-day tour. Again, another popular tour. Starts at 3,660, and again, so that's nearly a 2-week trip. Oh, what I didn't mention at the beginning, these are for the tour only. It doesn't include international flights, so it's all the travel one shot in the destination, but it doesn't include international flights. And I'm going a bit slow, so I'm going to zip along a little bit because I just want to show you our cruise and tour holidays. So on a cruise and tour, they'll get private airport transfers and all connecting transfers. So the cruise element includes outside cabins or balcony staterooms. Obviously everything you'd expect on the cruise. So all the dining and drinks and entertainment. They will need to pay for any land excursions on the cruise, as you would expect. And your tour is in line with everything I've said in a classic tour, Wendy Wu classic tour. So 4-star hotels, all meals, all touring with expert guides, sightseeing and entrance fees. And this will keep expanding, and we will look at other cruises to work with, because most of these we've only done for 1 or 2 years so far, and they've all been renewed, and we've brought in new options. So I just whipped through that. So the ones we're working with at the moment: Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and Azamara. Say watch this space, that will continue to grow because it's proving so popular. We've also got a rail collection, which means your travelers can skip the long lines and transfers with our immersive rail tours. Rail is, especially as I mentioned with China and with Japan, it's really our transport of choice. So we've got everything from iconic routes like the Canada's Rocky Mountaineer to luxury journeys like Africa's Rovers Rail. They enjoy stunning views, rich local life, and simply can't see from traveling by air. And all the itineraries, you can look up the rail collection on our website. We also do have a Christmas collection, which is a slight tweak on some of our most popular tours. A lot of the time we don't have scheduled touring. It tends, sorry, my voice went. It tends to end at the end of November, beginning of December, and pick up again in January, if that's the key touring season. Destinations like, for instance, Thailand, we don't have tours during the hot season or the rainy season. We only offer tours when it's a comfortable time to be touring. But our Christmas collection, handful of destinations, our most popular tours that are tweaked with festive activities within them, but they are generally our most popular. So like I mentioned earlier, we have got 10% off all fully inclusive tours booked by March the 31st. We have our website doesn't reflect this. So any prices you actually see on our website, 10% will be taken off when you come through to reservations, but that just gives you an idea if you are looking at pricing. Depending which host agency or consortia agency that you're with, our minimum commission is 15%. So you can speak to me individually, inquire, so I can let you know what you would be on. Our website, www.wendywotours.com. And then our reservations, we have people here in the US, and we also have people in the Philippines as well in our reservations. But there's only 3 because we're only a very small team, and I'm usually in on all those emails as well. So any inquiries you can put through to me as well. So support and contact information. So there's my information, but I can make sure through Chris and Jeff that you've got you don't need to take a note of it, but that you've got it. And as I mentioned, there's our reservations details. We don't currently have an agent's portal as such. They've got one they've been using for years in the UK that is going to get rolled out. So I'm very pleased that it will come with no gremlins and it'll all be 100% working. So we should be getting that within the next few months, and we'll roll that out as soon as that is available. But for now, you can email me, call our reservations, call me, or call or email reservations as well, sorry. So that's the end of the presentation. So thank you very much for your time. And do we have any questions? And I'll just stop sharing now.
We've got one question in the chat, so we'll start with that. Lisa asks, do you do international airfare?
Not currently, but if you're struggling, there may be ways around it. We don't generally offer it, but if you look on our UK website, if you go on there by accident, you'll find that everything includes flights. So it's something we will definitely do in the future, but in this initial launch, we haven't started with that as yet.
All right. And that's the only one. And we got another one in the chat. What is the profile of the typical Wendy Wu customer?
Right. So, and this is probably more the nature of the length of the trips. It tends to be people over 40, although our age bracket is, there must be 12 or older because it isn't suitable for young children. The itinerary isn't. And it would impact the group, especially as they're smaller groups. But we tend to find it's over 40. We are quite specific about, you need to be active. It isn't suitable because of where they're going. It isn't generally suitable. Most of the itineraries are not suitable terrain for somebody in a wheelchair. So we would need to look at a tailor-made itinerary for that, if anybody was, or we need to be mindful if they are using any mobility aids as well. From that point of view, just because of the natural terrain that they're crossing with most of these itineraries. But yeah, over 40, long and short. Hi, Sally.
You have come to us at a good time. One of our board members was John McMillan with Inside Asia and Inside Japan. And he's no longer with them. And every time I get an email from them, I say, I'll only talk to John. So it's good to have someone else who can do Asia.
Now you know me.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're coming to our trade show in October.
I've got the details. I haven't reviewed it yet and looked at the dates, but I did get that through end of last week, I think it was. Yeah.
We need another Asia person because we've lost ours.
Okay, thank you, Sally. Thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't keep up with the questions in the chat. As I mentioned, I'm only on 2 screens. So once my presentation was on, I couldn't see any chat. So I wasn't ignoring.
Not a problem. Are there any other questions from the group?
Nope.
Awesome. Well, Christine, thank you so much for joining us. I've got a couple bits and this great presentation. As Sally says, we always love partners who are Asia-based and supporting Asia. So I know I've got a couple customers asking about it. So looking forward to reviewing those. Let's do a couple bits of housekeeping, including a prize. So just to remind everybody, this was in the newsletter, but we have 2 more meetings coming up in March. The first will be on March 11th with Sky In. If you've met with Skylar before, he is on our board and he's got some cool stuff coming. I don't know if he can talk about all of it, but it's going to be pretty cool. So that's coming up March 11th. And then we have our new happy hour, which will be on March 17th. This is always a fantastic conversation, and we're going to be focusing our conversation this month on AI. And not just AI is cool, but let's talk about how we're actually using AI and share any tips or tricks that we might have seen from the field. And then, as Sally mentioned, just to remind everybody, our traditional, for the last 4 years, we've done the Supplier Showcase as a one-day expo and completely outgrown that event. The space, the number of suppliers, the number of advisors, like we were all packed in there. It's been fantastic. So we are going full bore this year into a 2-day conference where the first day is very education driven. It's special guest Zane Kirby, president of ASTA, and Geraldine Rhee, author of 10X My Travel Business. And the second day is a full expo and presentations from our supplier partners. So Christine, hint, hint, would love to see you there. And all that information for those events are on our website. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask as I pull up the fun part or the extra fun part. All right, so we always like to reward folks for taking time out of their very busy wave season to meet with us and our supplier partners. So let's do that. Our winner $50 certificate to Amazon today is... Oh, Maggie, it was almost. It is Wendy. Wendy, I think I've got your email in our ticket system, so we will get you a gift certificate to Amazon for $50.
That's so fun. Thank you so much. Sorry, Maggie.
So close. Bill Names hates me, so I never get picked. Cool. All right. Christine, thank you again for your time and for sharing with us about Wendy Wu. Good to see you at our upcoming trade show. And then everybody else, good to see you again. And we'll see you at an upcoming event for Rocky Mountain ASTA. One other plug, if you have not been to the Travel Advisor Conference before, please consider going this year at the end of May. It is by far my favorite national event. Even beyond River Cruise Expo and all those big ones, it's really important. And if you really want to make a difference and help protect your career, strongly consider ASTA's Legislative Day. Joining Robin, who I'm staring at right now. Robin is our secretary on the leadership team. She will be representing Colorado. And then Udi Pros from Wyoming, our vice president, will be representing Wyoming. They're the only 2 from our chapter who have signed up. I'm going to be halfway across the world, so I'm not able to go. But make a difference. It's probably, while TAC is an amazing event, Ledge Day is probably our most important event. So do consider going to Ledge Day. Other than that, thank you everybody for your time. Thank you again, Christine. And
thank you. And hopefully I'll see some of you in San Diego.
Yes.
At the ASTA. Yeah. We'll be there.
Thanks.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Bye.